Okay. Hi, welcome to my channel. Let me see something right quick. Let's see. That's okay. I don't want it to be too bright. Let me see. Okay, I just want to address something. I like a necklace my granddaughter made for me. Okay. Let me just try my best to stay focused. Excuse me. Okay, so I want to bring up my YouTube page because I want to respond specifically to somebody. And I can't really go to sleep until, until I get this, I guess, off my chest. Let me just, I'm taking the channel off, what I was watching off, so I won't be distracted. Okay. So, all right. Let me see if I get the comments here. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is to, oh, it's two different people. Oh, I thought it was the same person. Okay, we got a SHIRLMIKEL. And then we got to add user something. Right? Now, I got to read what they said so that, those who, choose to, they probably done read it or can read it themselves. But in order for me to respond, I have to read what they said. Okay. So now for at user, right? And let me see how many times this person wrote. Okay, so this person only wrote one time. And it's underneath the video of no respect for. Okay, so we're going to go with the add user first. All right. So that person wrote, what happened to them? Why did the kids wind up in the system? Because you're speaking about yourself, but yet you keep talking about you. I'm not quite understanding that. I'm speaking about myself, but I'm talking about me. So my response was, hi. Well, the video is about me and my feelings and how I felt toward the courtesy of niceness, not only to a parent, but in general towards people. Now, I put the response in here about the Rolex, but I'm seeing that it wasn't at user who wrote. It says, I wrote, of course, the word Rolex makes one think you have money and can't just be blessed by God to get an early birthday gift. Not a car, because that ain't what I want. A Rolex is a gift Whereas a car is a responsibility that I care not to take on at this time, so late in the game. And I will explain more, which means late in the game at the age I am. Okay, so I'm not going to comment as far as the Rolex in the car at user person. I'm going to answer the question, what happened to them? Why did the kids wind up in the system? Okay, because I'm going to take it piece by piece, but I'm going to start backwards because I'm speaking about myself, but yet I'm talking about myself. Okay, so I'm guess that's what who he or she is saying. So now my videos, okay, is about my feelings and what's happening in my life and how I perceive things in the natural and in the spiritual. Now, I see that as content, my content get out there, I get a lot of people watching my videos, right? Viewing them, not so much liking them, but viewing them. So now, there was never where I had to explain anything that I didn't have to explain anything that I videotaped. You know, I've been on YouTube for a long time. I was on YouTube before YouTube was actually, I'm not going to say monetizing because I believe it was. Well, I'm going to say I was on YouTube before it started paying people. Because I'm remembering when they would send me stuff about monetizing, and they would say this video can't be monetized, and if you choose for this one to be monetized, such and such. But I can't remember the procedures because because I never really got into it. Okay, so my channel is spiritually and naturally. I talk a lot about the church. I talk a lot about God. And I talk a lot about me. I'm not too much because I'm very private. So I just recently started getting into talking about a lot of issues that go on in my house. Because I only talked about issues that went on in the church and how I felt about them and how people was treating me, right? Because my channel is about me. So you will hear a whole, just like you said, because you're speaking about yourself, but yet you keep talking about you. So my 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 videos and channel is mainly about me talking about what's going on with me, right? I don't too much, I try my best not to too much talk about other people. Now, I may bring other people names or whatever, or bring people's character into my videos because it shed light on why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Just like me speaking in this video shed light on how I felt about how I was being treated by my daughter. Okay? So now, as far as them, now I go up to your question. What happened to them? Why did the kids wind up in the system? So now, this video about the Rolex and me going somewhere and Then how I explained it, I can't really explain. I can't really remember exactly word for word about that video. But me speaking how I felt, ex- maybe you're not getting it, or maybe you quite don't understand it, right? Because I didn't break it down, would explain what happened to them. They they was in the system and learned the system and picked up the system's traits and mannerisms, that they lost what they was taught. I believe that's in another one of them, another one of the videos. They lost what they was taught, which was about God, which was about how to treat people. Okay, so that's what happened to them. They lost the respect of adults. There's no way I will sit here and accept what anyone says in the comments of my video about I'm to blame of the choices that my adult children take. Okay? So if I'm teaching them how to respect their elders, because I believe I'm gonna get to that I'm gonna get to that comment, but it's all gonna it's gonna all flow together, right? I am a strong believer about what you teach your children hopefully will reflect on how they become. But I'm here to tell you that because of sin, sin is going to take hold. The devil, because he's behind sin, not God, is going to take over the choices of children, that they are going to begin to do things and act certain ways and treat your parents certain ways that they have not even been taught. So the disrespect that I may get from my children, they didn't get it from me, because that's why I put my grandmother into that video. Because even though I was upset with not being able to wear the dress, to not being able, I keep saying the dress, not being able to wear the skirt and the blouse to school, I still had respect and feelings for her, and respect for the God that she was serving, that was in her life, that I had courtesy for her. I had respect for her. I didn't mouth off if she said, okay, it's time to go to bed. She didn't say it's time to go to sleep. She said it's time to go to bed. So when she said it's time to go to bed, I went to bed. Now, I would get in the bed and put the covers over my head and get a book and read it. Right? Have a flashlight reading it. So now, she didn't say it's time to go to sleep. She said it's time to go to bed. So when she would come in and see me still wide awoke, then she would say, turn off that flashlight, Sharon. It's time for you to go to sleep. I'll turn off the flashlight. And I'll close my eyes. Even though I thought sleep was so far from my eyes, so far from me. As soon as I would close my eyes, I would find myself asleep. And sometimes when I woke up, it'd be the next morning. And the reason why I say sometimes is because sometimes I would wake up and then I realize, wow, I fell asleep. Okay, now, so that's what happened to them. Now, why they wind up in the system, there's a video, right? So this is the thing. People have tendencies of just like I said, let me finish that sentence. People have tendencies of stating their opinions or stating their thoughts when they don't really know the situation, So just like I always say, I don't mind if people comment on my videos. I don't mind if people, state their opinion on my videos. But when they start trying to dictate my life and what happened and reasons why things are, when they really don't know the real reason why things were and why they went that way or why they wind up going left field, then that's where disagreement steps in on my part. So I did a video, and in that video I gave explanation of why my kids was wind up in the system. Okay, I was never introduced to, at that time it was BCW. Never was introduced to BCW. Never knew anything about BCW. Growing up as a child, I never was taken care of by nobody else but my grandmother. My mother had her issues. My father had his issues. But BCW never was in the picture as far as I can remember. Right? I left. I was taken from my mother at the age of 3. I went to my grandmother, lived with my grandmother all the way up to 17 years of age. In church, home. Not messing with no boys, not having no sexual intercourse with nobody, not running those streets. Why? Because, why? I want you to understand why. Because I had so much respect for my grandmother. See, this is what I'm trying to understand. No matter how worse of a parent you are, or how good of a parent you are, it comes down that the child has to become accountable. Do you not think that children of today will not be held accountable for the way they treat their parent? I don't know the phantom. I don't understand. The Bible says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother. This is Bible. This is Bible. Honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that your days may be long upon the land. Here we go. And you can find that in Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Okay, say, honor thy father and mother, the 2nd verse, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And it says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Now, do you see that God put a standard for children and what they're supposed to do? Then he made a promise that if they do that particular thing, it's a particular thing, if they do that particular thing, that they'll live long. They may go through problems. They may stray away from the Bible. They may stray away from the church, because there's somebody that talk about they raised their child up and they got these children and they got cars and this. I'm going to get on that in a second. I'm going to get on that. So now, because your child went the right way and did what they supposed to do, I'm wrong, okay? Because my children are disrespecting me, and because my children had babies at early ages, and because I had a baby at an early age, because I got married at an early age, because I don't have no job. Wait, hold up. Let me not forget this. Because I ain't got no car, but I want a Rolex watch. So because I don't have these things, I did something wrong biblically, because my children are out there and they're disrespecting me. That's something that I did. Okay. And because your children, let me go to that one. Now let me go to, since I'm talking about that, let me go to that one. Okay, here we go. They say, I have two daughters, 30 and 41. And I've been with them from day one. See, you're blessed. Get on your knees and thank God. Okay? Get on your knees and thank God. Don't judge me because my children went in the system, so that's why they bad. Or my children went in the system, so I had to have something to do with them going in the system. For your information, because my husband tried to kill them, that's how they got in the system. Because for the safety of them and the safety of myself, because I couldn't go in the system. They couldn't come and get me and say, okay, Miss Jordan, I'm going to protect you because your husband tried to kill you too. So we going to put you over here and let Jackie B. Nipple raise you. No, no, no. They couldn't protect me. So they had to get the kids out of the house so that they could be protected. And then they had to take me in therapy. I had to go through therapy. I had to go through, you have no idea. See, this is why I say I do not tell my business. I talk as the day go. Whatever happened as the day go, that's what I talk on. Now, when it comes to the church, I can go way deep down in the church, right? And how I was treated by the church, and how people treated me by the church, had nothing to do with the fact that my mother didn't raise me or my father abused me. It was the fact of how it is what I thought. Because when I was a child and got abused, or when I was a child and my mother didn't take care of me, the decision that they would, let me put it this way, there was no decision that I could make at 3 years of age. I couldn't make no decisions. When certain things was going on in my life, I was just a child. I wasn't old enough to make decisions. I wasn't even old enough, in a sense, to be held responsible for any decision that I made. That's why that's why children are considered a minor, and then you have that adult. That adult is the one that makes a decision for a child under a certain age. Now, when that child grows up and past that certain age, that an adult got to make the decision, then they become adult in society. But that doesn't mean that they're grown enough or old enough or mature enough to make the right decisions. But here's the catch. God don't care what your age is. When you get old enough to understand right from wrong, you become accountable for your wrong and your right. So now, this person says they have two daughters. I think this person commented on one of my videos before. And they said, I've been with them from day one. Just like I said, you get on your knees and you bless them and you thank God. And I'm gonna go on. I was taking the cart before the horse. Okay, so because a lot of parents that get connected with the system for whatever reason, right? They don't get that chance to get the kind of bond that you had with your girls. Okay. From that day, and I've been with them from day one and still there for my girls. But what I'm not understanding is, how did it get to the point where the system had to take your kids? You don't have to understand that, to be honest. You don't have to, because that's not for you to understand. Honestly, that's really none of your business. Okay? Okay? So, I brought it up. That's me brought it up. So, in a sense, I brought you in my business, but I ain't tell you my business. Okay? So now, just like I said, the same thing came up before with somebody else, and I believe it was the same person. It may not have been. And I had to do a video then to let them know about my daughter and how this daughter was very disrespectful to me. And just like I said about her, I could understand her anger. I could understand what was going on, because she was in the system. But she was acting out based on things that happened to her in the system that I had no idea about. The people in the system was lying to her as well as to me. So when we came together for visits, we had bad visits because her anger was against me because the system lied to her. So that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's not my fault. And see, I'm not going to let nobody, not even you, make me feel guilty based on how my children feel, based on what somebody told them. Because I have always been an honest person with my children, and I've always been that way so that they will grow up not being liars. But if they choose to tell a lie, they ain't got nothing to do with me. They ain't got nothing to do with me because I ain't no liar. All right? So if I'm teaching them and I'm yelling at them in so many words, people may not like it, yelling at your children, whatever. People think that you being so perfect and you, oh, Sally, go sit over there, is going to make your child come out a perfect child. No, no, no. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of women, a lot of people of color don't like the saying that the strategy that other cultures use that's called a timeout, right? But I'm here to tell you that them timeout work, and that's what I use for my children up to today. With my grandchildren, I make them go and take a timeout in a minute, and them timeout works, okay? So where this culture or this family or this parent don't think that work, this parent may think it work. It'll work for their family. So what works in your household ain't gonna work in mine. I gotta use the strategies that's gonna work for my family based on the personality of my children. So just like I said, they wasn't with me. They was away from me for a long time. Okay? So now let's go on. Where the system had to take your kids. And another thing, I don't see where you're taking accountability to your actions of why your kids are being a certain way. What accountability that I'm supposed to take when a child is being disrespectful? What accountability is that? If you're as perfect as your children is, and as good as you've been to them, if they one morning wake up because of the devil, and they decide that they want to curse you out, is that your fault? Now, you may sit back and say, oh, my children ain't going to never do that. Never say never, because you don't know what the devil going to do in your life twixt now and 5 years from now or 10 years from now. You don't know what's going to be. So you may have a perfect life now. You may think it's perfect right now, and you could wake up tomorrow and all chaos break loose. Them same children that you thought was perfect, they can turn on you, and you'll be sitting there baffled. Like, wait a minute. What the crazy did I do? What? Well, Jane, what's happening? Sue, what's going on? Next thing you know, they going on about their business, and they don't want to be bothered with you. They don't want to talk to you no more. And you sitting there, oh, what the crazy? Now, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying that your children is bad. I'm not saying that they're going to do that tomorrow. I'm just trying to get people to understand that we have no control over the minds of our children. We only become accountable for the things that we know that we don't do. Now, what we don't know, we cannot be held accountable for. And that's where grace and mercy steps in. That's why Jesus came and died on the cross for our sins, because he knew 2,000 years ago that people was going to get in situations with their children, and children was going to raise up and kill their parents, and children was going to raise up and be disobedient to their parents. That's why he wrote that scripture for them to honor. For them to honor their parents. And that's why he said that fathers mothers against, no, that's why I said to train your children and teach them right. But then it goes on, and another passage in the Bible say that the daughters against, yeah, that's why I said that. I know I'm looking for something kind of like, I mean, you gotta really understand. Okay, so in Luke 12 and 53 in the KJV version, King James Version, it says, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against the mothers-in-law. But that's not really where. Okay, in it say, and the father shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hate of all men for my name's sake, but he that endure to the end shall be saved. So, with that being said, we have no control over what the enemy decides to do with our children. The only thing we can do is pray and ask God to lead them right. Because once they become old enough to become accountable for their wrong, in a sense, it's out of our hands. Because we can teach, we can preach, we can sit down. I used to have GMs with my children, general meetings, little. Let me see, about 6, 7 years old. We come together once a week. Let everybody express how they feel about certain things that's going on in the house. Let everybody express their feelings to one another. You know, not get disrespectful, not get no argument, not get no fight. Everybody say how they feel. And then I come in and I ask them for what would their solution be for the situation. They come up with their solution. I put my feedback in it, and then we come to a conclusion. And then we get up and we do what we say. But before the next GM meeting, that done went out the drain. That done went out the air. That done went somewhere else. Okay. Now, where you saying that? What you saying? Take your kids and another thing. See where you're taking accountability to your action. Okay, so now, what actions do you feel I should be accountable for? What actions? Now, according to the video, I'm speaking on the fact that she's being disrespectful. No, not being disrespectful. She's being non-courtesy because I'm mommy. So therefore, since I'm mommy, if you got your car, if mommy got to go somewhere, you should take your mother there. Now, I don't know what you thinking about or how you feel. I guess you feel like my daughter felt. Well, I don't got to take you nowhere. And just like I even told her, well, it wasn't my right to tell you to take me somewhere because I ain't put a dime in it. And for your information, that was a rented car. That she's supposed to be getting a car, but that's still yet to be seen. And for your information, whoever, what I can't say, let me see if this you. No, this ain't you. What I'll find out, because this is another. Let me see. Somebody said something about buying. I should have bought a car. For your information, you missed that video. Go look at my videos. Go search my videos. And you'll see I did a video where I tried to get my own car back in the days when my dad died and I had the money. That was the only way I was able to get anything of any expense in the thousands if I inherited it. Because go look at my videos, you'll find out I didn't have the opportunity to work. My husband was the husband he was. So therefore, I had to make sure that I stayed home so certain things wouldn't be happening to my children. I went out there. I tried to get a job. I tried to do nursing. I tried to do clerical. I tried to do my own business. I couldn't do nothing because of the simple fact, being that we was parents, I was doing the job that my husband was supposed to do. I don't care what woman feel like she want to be out there working. That wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. Biblically, women ain't got no business working. And this is just my opinion, right? But biblically, the Bible say we are supposed to be helpmates to our husband. So we are supposed to be helping him out. We ain't supposed to be trying to be in competition with him and getting a better job than him and making more money than him. So now he got to be intimidated by me as a woman. No, that wasn't my thing. I stayed home. I took care of my home and my family and let my husband work. And he was out there doing whatever he wanted to do. See, this is what I'm saying. You don't know the story. And I'm still hanging in there. And there was somebody that said, well, why you still staying with him? Well, after all he did, because of the simple fact, that's my choice. And not only that, it's because my Bible tells me, not of works should any man should boast. So I'm not in this relationship sticking with my husband, and right now he is bed bound. He can't move. He can't turn over. He can't go to the bathroom. He can feed himself up to a certain extent. And that's because the man in him will not sit back, in a sense, and let me feed him. Otherwise, it will be down that I will be feeding him. So his daughters is here taking care of him, and not even to the fullest. Okay, not even to the fullest. They'll get angry with him. They'll argue with him, whatever the case may be. And I got to step in there, and I got to keep him calm, and I got to talk to them and keep them calm. But here's the bottom line to it. That's my husband. So therefore, I got to do what I'm supposed to do, because the vows that you do when you're married says to death do your part. Right? That's what it says. So I'm not gonna just walk out and leave him. Right? I try to take care of him. Excuse me. But my whole point of bringing him in is because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So that's why I couldn't get no job. But God knows I tried. So it was prophesied in my life that I won't be able to work, because if I was to get a job, my husband was going to kill me. What you thought I was going to do? You thought I was going to live that out? You thought I was going to, oh, that ain't true. Please, I got to go get a job. He ain't doing nothing, so let me go get a job. And next thing you know, my kids wouldn't have had nobody to take care of them, because that's exactly what he tried to do. He tried to kill me. So therefore, I had to make a decision. Either to leave him, take my kids out of the situation, take myself out of the situation, or let God handle the situation. So we wind up separating 3 years after we got married. And we separated all that long time. And the daughter that I was talking about in the video that you're commenting on, I believe, is the daughter that I made outside our marriage while we were separated. Now, he was over there messing around doing whatever he was going to do, but I stayed in the marriage. But then when we separated, of course, we're human, I had another child, and that's the child that takes care of him, along with his biological child, or however you want to call it, his real daughter. So that's his stepdaughter. So this is the daughter that I was having, that my video was about. And see, just like I said, you have no idea all the stuff that I went through with this child. That's why I started not to say nothing. I started just to go. But just like I said, it just sticked on me, because I'm gonna be honest, I read things on YouTube. I come across videos. See, I come across videos. I don't go looking for nothing. And I'm not saying that y'all are, because my video could have just popped up, right? Yes. And I see things, right? But when I comment, I try to comment in reference to what is already being said in the video. So, for instance, when I commented on, what's the man that just died on the oh man, help me, Holy Ghost, on Carlson Pearson. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I commented on his videos and also inserted his videos in some of mine. Now, a lot of people didn't like what I was saying, but I had to explain to people, not saying that they got it, which personally I don't care, that I was not talking about the man. I was talking about what he was representing. And he was talking against the God that I serve. So, of course, I'm going to stick up for the God that I serve. So, hey, if nobody didn't like what I was saying, based on his response to the God I was serving, then ain't nothing I can do about it. So, just like I said, I come across videos and I see some things and hear some things that I want to respond to and I disagree with, or whatever the case may be. And some of it, I just got to let it go. And some of them I do. And then when I do respond, I let y'all know which video I'm responding to, because I try to insert it. And then and I always say, well, this is my thoughts. This is my opinions. I try not to talk judgmental about somebody, because I have learned, the Lord has taught me how to step in people's shoes. For some crazy reason, when I hear things, I'm able to feel what the person is feeling. It may not be understandable. You may not understand it. But then if you don't, it's not for you to understand. This is a gift that's given to me. So I'm able to hear things and understand things, and I'm able to feel things. See, and sometimes those feelings can be so deep, meaning that somebody could be going through something, and I can feel what they going through. And sometimes people come to me with certain situations that they going through, and I'm able to feel it so strongly that I can give advice for it. And actually the advice come out right. They come back and tell me, well, you know what, I tried that and that worked. Well, only God. Because I don't know your situation. I don't know what's going on. Whatever you telling me is what I know. So now, with that being said, let me go back, because I don't want to be here all night. It's almost 12 o'clock. Okay, so now, this person was saying the accountability for my actions of why my kids are being a certain way. Let me explain something. There is no reason for a child to treat a parent wrong. Now, my children have their feelings. They say what they say. They act the way they act towards me. I accept it because I understand it. I understand their feelings. But it's not a reason. You got to understand. You can't make excuses for children if they're wrong. So that's an excuse. For you to say, I'm not being accountable for the actions of why my kids are being... My kids are grown. There's no reason. Just like I said, if one of your girls come to me, they 30 and 41 years of age, they come to you and they just totally outright what's the word? Not, come on, Holy Ghost, help me out. They come to you and they all of a sudden just say something out of the blues to hurt you, right? You ain't did nothing. Or maybe you could say, well, if they do that, something I did, okay, then you do, But we gonna just hypothetically speak. We won't even use you then. Somebody else child that always been good, never did nothing wrong, go to school, college, doctor, got car, got the best home, got children, ain't got money in the bank, financial stable, ain't got to worry about nothing. And then one morning, one day out of the blues, y'all come together and they just flip out. And you have no idea why they flipping out, but they know why they flipping out. Or it could just be the devil. The devil is like that. The devil can jump into you, your kids, your dog, your cat, your wife, your husband, unexpectedly, and start acting a fool. And you ain't did nothing to him. But my point is that they still become accountable. There's no excuse for their action. No excuse. There may be a reason, but no excuse. I didn't like what you say, so that's why I responded. Okay, it's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with not liking something. But for you to blow up and just start cursing people out, or blow up and slapping them up, or blowing up and just punching them in their face, there's no reason for that. Because society has a way of living that's right. No matter how you look at it, right is right. If you're driving and you go across the light because you think you can make it, and you make it, and you don't do no accident, but you get pulled over because you ran that light. Well, I know I ran the light, officer, but I ain't caused no accident. Oh, so you think because you ain't caused no accident, it was right to run the light? No, that's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? Because right is still right and wrong is still wrong. So regardless of whether you caused the accident or not, it was wrong for you to go past that light. So regardless of what I said that make you feel a certain way, you raising your voice at me, you disrespecting me, you punching me in my face, or you pushing me in front of a bus, or you feel like you want to wait till I'm sleeping and then you want to come in and beat me up, it's still wrong. So now, let's go on. Both of my daughters have their cars because they work hard and they were taught to go to school and college and build a relationship. Okay? They was taught. You did what the Bible said. The Bible says, train your children in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. So your children is in the Bible because they did not. You trained them. Whatever you said, stuck with them. Whatever you did, I ain't hear you say nothing about no husband up in here. And you said I have two daughters. I don't know whether you're a male or a female. So if you're a male, then I don't hear nothing about no wife in here. If you're a female, I don't hear nothing about no husband. So therefore, I'm going to say you did this by yourself. Okay? And I applaud you that your child or your children went to school, went to college, they built a relationship with God. That's the key, they built. See, there go the key word. They built it. My kids wasn't with me to build nothing. They didn't even build a relationship with me. So I'm supposed to I'm supposed to hold that against them and expect them to be godly, expect them to go to church, expect them to get saved because I built one and they didn't. But because they're not doing that, and because you see a video where I'm upset and I'm feeling some kind of way, now I need to be held accountable for my action. Well, when somebody say so I'm trying to understand. How did it get to what? You said teaching them and they became, okay, you said them decision always was told by mom and grandmother. You can be anything you want. Let me tell you something. That's the same thing I tell my children. Told them. They can be anything they want. Anything they want. Your kids gotta want to be something. And here's the catch. If they don't want to be nothing, they still my children. Just because your children is so successful, that's what makes you proud of them? Because they successful? What if they was drug addicts? Or what if they was drug dealers? What if they was pushers? What if they had some kind of ailment? What if they was mentally retarded? What if they was, they wasn't all that successful? Would you still love them? Would you still care for them? So because my children is not where yours is, I still love them. Children is going to be children regardless. And when I say children, I'm not talking about little kids. Adults. They're adults, but they're still my children. So they're going to be who they are. And who they are, I accept them. It doesn't change my love for them because she didn't take me to go get my Rolex. It doesn't change my love for them because certain things that I would like for them to do, they don't do. They don't come to church. They don't respect the God in me. They still my children. So I'm not really understanding where you're going with this, but you entitled to go whichever way you want to go because you ain't in my life. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, and I'm not angry or nothing like that, and it may come off like I am, but I just don't get how people can come to a decision of somebody's life when they don't even know it. And because you see a video of a piece of my life, and I'm expressing it based on how I feel, you come to a conclusion that I should be accountable, and why they in the system. Okay, nothing wrong with that question. And and what you say? And okay, wait a minute. Oh, and why they are acting, and why your kids are being, for me to take accountable to my actions of why my kids are being a certain way. How they are is how they are. I'm not gonna dwell too much on this because I want to go to the next one. So you said very successful because it starts with me and teaching them from the time they're out of my womb, because they are a blessing from God. Yes, they are. They are a blessing. Them same children that go out there and kill their parents, they are blessings. But how they come out is their choice. It's their decision. You see what I'm saying? You must understand that biblically, if a parent is doing what the Bible says that they should supposed to do, and that is raise them up and treat them right and teach them the right things. See, God sees things that other people doesn't. So whatever my issue was as a teenage mother, as a 19, wait, what was it? I got married at 20, I believe. So as a young mother as well as a young wife, God see these things. So what he forgive me of, you may never forgive me of. And you may never understand it. But see, that's the thing. God knows me. God knows my life just like he knows you. And whatever relationship you have with God is your relationship with God. Just like my relationship is with God, as well as your children. So you're trying to understand, how did it get to this? How did it get to what? What my video is doing? What the video that you're talking on? The video that you are, yeah, the no respect. How did it get to the no respect? Because they was in the system. Okay. Okay, so somebody wrote, maybe instead of talking about a Rolex watch, maybe you should have took that money and bought you a car to get around. Make it make sense. You can run the line like everybody else run. That's why I don't run these lines that people say, because when you say them out of context. Make it make sense. I don't gotta make it make sense to you, because you'll never understand it because you ain't living my life. Okay? So what I wrote on the other person's thing, which was, wait a minute, where's it at? Okay, where I wrote, wait a minute, this phone is crazy. That's what I'm trying to get another. Okay, where I wrote, it said, of course, the word Rolex make one think you have money and can't just be blessed by God to get an early birthday gift. Not a car. I didn't ask God for a car. Not for myself anyway. A Rolex is a gift, whereas a car is a responsibility that I care not to take on at this time, so late in the day. So let me see. Let me take that out, because that one doesn't go to you. So I'm going to take that out of it. Right? Oh my goodness. This phone is so crazy. Okay, so we're going to cut that. Okay, so we're going to put that there. I took out that one. All right. Okay, and I'm going to put the Rolex thing in this one, right? Okay. Okay. So now we're going to go to the user person, which said maybe instead of talking about a Rolex watch, maybe you should have took that money and brought you a car to get around. I'm here to tell you the amount of money that I paid for the Rolex that I'm getting out. I'm trying to think. Maybe it would have got me a car, but it wouldn't have helped me keep that car. Because it's like I said, a Rolex is a gift, right? And a car's a responsibility. Once you get that car, you better have some money coming in and take care of the car. And I heard somebody say that as long as you have an income, you can get a car. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I guess you can. But I know my income and I know my budget. And my budget does not take care of a car. Now, there was a time when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s. Not even my early 20s. In my early 20s, I was married with my husband. We was together. In my early 30s, I say, when I really started renting, got my license. Oh, I loved it to drive. Oh, every time you turn around, I was so enthused, just like my daughter that was in the video that I was talking about that y'all comment on, of no respect. She loves to drive. So every time I got money in my hand, I rented a car. Now, that was the time I could see and understand this text, because maybe I should have, took that responsibility and just went and bought a car. But now here's the thing. When the money came into play, I tried to get a car, but nobody didn't want to help me get a car. And at that time, I was not consistent like I am now. I was not budgeting myself. There's a video. Go look for the video. There's a video that I got out there. I can't remember the name of it, and I'm not gonna say I'm a tack it into this video because it's like 12 o'clock now, and I know I am going to forget. So just look for the video where I'm talking about I tried to get a car, and it would explain where the money came from and everything. And then my grandmother had told me, she said, Sharon, don't buy no car. And let me tell you something. My aunt, which was my grandmother's sister, and my grandmother, I look up to them very much. I trust them. They was the one that raised me. They was the one that took care of me. And I appreciated it to the point where I gave my life to God. That's how much I admired them and how much I wanted to be like them in godly life, in godly conversation. And God had his hands on me to allow me to go and be with them, because my family on my mother's side did not know nothing about God. Holiness, Christianity, nothing like that. They was Roman Catholics. And I ain't here to talk about no Catholic. I don't know nothing about no Catholic, so there's nothing too much I can say about them. But one thing I can say, it's not holiness. Okay? So I raised up in holiness. I raised up with, as people would call it, the holy rollers. I raised up where people shout and fell out and underneath the Spirit of God. So I have respect for that. So when my grandmother spoke about getting a car, I told her I was going to get a car, and we got in a little tiff there, because to this day I don't know why she didn't want me to get a car. But I'm glad I didn't, because Who is to say whether by now I could have gotten an accident because my eyes started failing on me? And who's to say I could have been driving? And I'm here to tell you I did get in an accident now that I'm thinking about it. It wasn't my car. It was somebody else's car. But I did get into an accident. And I'm here to tell you, when I got into the accident, that's the first thing that came to me. Well, mommy told me not to get no car. And I'm making excuses saying, well, that wasn't my car. I'm saying to the Lord, well, Lord, I didn't buy the car. But I got in an accident. And it was because my eyes was bad, and I didn't know how bad my eyes was until I got out here in the Bronx. And by the time I got out here, then, oh, man, hang on. Dang, I forgot. Okay. Ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I had to go get my sweaters. I'll be right back. I'm stopping and be